Hi everybody, it's Julie. Welcome to Hello Monday. Today I'm going to be making a Halloween themed card using the Got Candy stamps and matching dies. But to make my background first, I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keepers Nesting Card Layers die set to cut a panel from some Neenah Solar White, and then I'm going to do some ink blending. Now this panel is going to be about half an inch smaller all around than an A2 card front, and you'll have to pardon my ink blending skills because I'm still really bad at it. I've tried and tried practicing, but it's going to get camouflaged in the end, and you won't see how badly I am doing on this, but you know, it is what it is, and I just got to keep practicing, right? So now I'm going to take it and heat set it. I'm using seedless preserves, by the way, to get this pretty kind of raspberry grapey color. And I'm going to heat set it with my heat tool, and then I'm going to take the powder tool to hopefully neutralize as much of that ink as possible so I don't have a lot of moisture on there during the next step. So I'm going to grab my Big Shot because I want to do some pressure embossing. And there's a way to do this using the Big Shot platform. I've opened up all the tabs. So 1 and 2 are open, and then I've put a cutting pad on top and the silicone. It's a really soft rubbery mat that goes on top. This is an accessory that's sold separately. And then I'm going to put a spiderweb die. Now this is a retired spiderweb die by Memory Box, but it's what I had, and I didn't have a stamp that was a spiderweb, and I didn't want to use a die cut shape, and you'll see why as I'm going through the process here. But I'm going to use the Textures Impressions pad on top, which is a nice sturdy black pad that doesn't have any cut marks in it because you never use it for die cutting. It's just for pressure embossing. And there you can see I've got my spider web nicely debossed into that area that I sponged with purple ink, and I'm just going to set it aside while I continue on making my shaker material. So I'm going to use some of the images from the Got Candy stamp set, stamp those with archival jet black onto some scrap Neenah Solar White. And again, I'm working with all Neenah 110-pound Solar White. And then I'm going to stamp these pumpkins. I wasn't sure if I needed 1 or 2, but I'm going to use orange soda to stamp those onto the Basil Card Shop cardstock, and then I'll go ahead and grab the matching dies and then take those over to my Big Shot and get those all cut out. Now these are going to be part of my shaker material. Now the pumpkin doesn't have any jack-o'-lantern features, so I just hand drew those on there. He's a little bit wonky, but I think it works. And then I'm going to take Trick or Treat and stamp that with archival jet black down there in the lower front corner there of that spiderweb panel. Now I need to create the shaker pocket, and I'm using a page protector. This is just half of a 8.5 by 11 inch page protector from a previous project, and I'm using the We Are Memory Keepers fuse tool to create a fuse line along the edge of the same die that I used to cut the panel that has the spiderweb on it. And I did that because I want that panel to fit in that size shaker pocket. So by using the same size, I know that it's all going to fit together. So I'm just using the outside edge there. And one thing I would caution you about is I wasn't careful and I went right off the cardstock onto my cutting mat, and I actually melted my cutting mat. So you really want to make sure you protect your work surface with a piece of cardstock or the glass mat or whatever works well for you, but protect your work surface. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this out. Now you'll notice on the page protector part of it was already fused, and I just used that pre-fused line that came with it when, you know, when it's manufactured to go along the bottom there. And then I'm going to take my panel and slide it inside and then start grabbing all my die cut critters and creatures and get those inside there. And that's going to be part of the shaker material, which I think my granddaughter will really get a kick out of seeing those shapes and everything. So we'll get that in there, and then I've got some sequins. I've got some Sparkling Clear Sequins by Pretty Pink Posh, and I've got some green sequins by Hazel and Ruby, and some star sequins, and I just grabbed a whole bunch to make a nice mix that would look really cute with the orange and white and black and the purple colors that are there. And I also added some gold micro beads just for some added movement and sound when it's shaking around. So now I've got to seal it up, and I'm just using the outside edge of the ruler here that comes with the fuse tool to seal up my pocket very close to the edge. I just made sure all the shaker material was down at the bottom, and then I can go ahead and trim off the excess plastic, and nothing's going to fall out of my shaker pocket. And I'll have a link to a tutorial where I show how to use the fuse in more in depth. It was part of the last In Touch newsletter, and I'll just have a link there for you to see. And then I'm going to mount the whole thing. This is just a full front panel shaker to a standard A2 card front, and I'm just using that Be Creative tape because it's nice and strong and I know it'll hold. I just put like 3 strips across it, and then I'll just go ahead and mount that to my card front. And this was a really quick and easy shaker card. I know my granddaughter will really get a kick out of it. It was so fun to make, and I love that it just didn't take hardly any time at all to pull together. And I love my embossed spider web because I didn't have a stamp that size, and if I'd used a die cut piece, it would have got, the confetti would have got hung up on it. So it was a better way to go to create that spiderweb effect. You can see more still shots at the Classroom blog, as well as all the supplies listed there and more details. Thanks for watching.